How's it going, everybody? This is Andrew Haggerty for Tea with Andrew again, and I'm not going to lie to you, this is a recording. I had to do this because I'm going to a conference in the beautiful state of Hawaii. Not all heroes wear capes, and I'm on that. I'm taking the one for the team and going out there and trying to learn what I can. So I'm going to try to set up a video with Kent. I know we're going to pre-record one of those as well, but we're going to try to do something while we're both where we're at, because we're both going to be at different conferences, just kind of showing the value of being able to move and do things. But I want to get this done because I want to make sure there's more information out there. And I talked about last week in our recording about how we're going to, how it's a great time to buy and how difficult it is because there's still so many offers on property. That being said, I want to make sure we as real estate professionals do a good job of explaining to our clients why some things are still important. Even though the seller may not be willing to pay for it, doesn't mean you shouldn't get it. So I'm going to go into another article here about knowledge is power when it comes to appraisals and inspections. Now, the only time you wouldn't get an appraisal is if you're buying it cash or if you're putting so much money down that the lender does not require an appraisal. But I've pretty much seen most lenders are going to say, no matter what, I want an appraisal. It's just a box they have to check and do. In the bigger cities, maybe it's or different markets, we're seeing differently. But where we are, if there's a lender involved, there's going to be an appraisal. With the low housing supply, though, a lot of times the buyers are doing a thing where they're saying, I don't care whatever the appraisal comes in at, I'm still willing to pay this much money. There is a form for that. I've gone over that. We've done that form. It's extremely important that that form is actually used as the amendment addendum for the amendment or for appraisal. Extremely important form. So make sure you understand how to use it. Make sure you get with your broker and understand how to fill it out, because I've seen some of them filled out extremely poorly and not putting your buyer's best interest in where they need to be because of misunderstanding of what goes where. But that being said, we're going to talk about the appraisal real quick. The appraisal is a critical step for securing a mortgage on your home. Lenders typically require an appraisal to ensure your loan-to-value ratio falls within their underwriting guidelines. Mortgages are secured loans where the lender uses your home as collateral in case you default an agreed-upon payment. But simply, when you apply for a mortgage, an unbiased appraisal, typically required by your lender, is the best way to verify the value of the home. Remember, real estate agents are not allowed by law to state value. We are allowed to determine recommend a price to list at, a starting listing price, but we cannot assess value. That is not something that we are allowed to do with our license. So just remember that, agents, and remember that, sellers. We can't say, hey, you told me my home was worth blank. I can give you an estimate, an idea, a comparable based on comparables in your market, but I cannot assign value. That is something an appraiser can do. So just understand that it's a slight difference. We're not allowed to use the word value. When buyers are competing like they're today, bidding wars and market conditions can push prices up. Buyer's contract price may end up higher than the value of the home. This is known as appraisal gap. In today's market, it's common for the seller to ask the buyer to make up the difference when appraisal gap occurs. That means as a buyer, you may need to be prepared to bring extra money to the table if you really want the home. Now, here's the problem. Okay, I really want this home. A buyer frenzy goes into effect. I say, even if it appraises at $220, I'm willing to pay up to $250. Well, that's $30,000 more than the property was valued at. So you're going to get mad later when you don't capitalize on the $250,000. Imagine you sell it in 3 years and it sells for $240. You're going to be up $10,000. So you need to have that understanding with yourself and make sure you explain to your clients, if you're the agent in this situation, listen, there's no guarantee that gap how markets change. And we saw this happen in 2006, 2007, where people were buying at the high end of the market, prices went down, people were underwater. The big difference between the 2006, 2007, 2008 markets and today is majority of those loans that I saw were 100% financed. Where they're not 100% financed today, lenders are a lot more serious and they're doing a lot more checking on buyers to make sure they're qualified and making sure they're putting some skin in the game, if you will. Another thing is home inspections. We're seeing a lot of people just flat out say, hey, I don't want a home inspection. I'm not going to do a home inspection. I'm not going to ask for an option period. This is very risky. Like an appraisal, the inspection is important because it gives an impartial evaluation of the home. While the appraisal determines the current value of the home, the inspector determines the current conditions of the home. As the American Society of Home Inspectors puts it, home inspections are the opportunity to discover major defects that were not apparent at a buyer's showing. Your home inspection is to help you make an informed decision about the house, including its condition. The problem is we're all friends till we're not friends. The buyer's excited, they're happy, they want to get in that home. They don't care about the inspection, they don't care about the option period, they just want to get in there and close. Well, now they've closed, now they're in there, and there's an electrical issue, there's a plumbing issue, there's all these little things that they didn't see or notice when they were purchasing the home. And now they're stuck dealing with it. So no longer are they excited to move in, now they're stuck fixing all these little things that they didn't know about. If they had gotten an inspection, they would have at least known about it. Now, in this current market, there's a lot of times sellers are saying, listen, you're buying this house as is, I've got 19 backups, I'm not going to do any repairs. Still do an inspection because you need to know what you're getting into. Is there issues that are too big to ignore, or are there too many little issues that you can't accept? If you have that inspection, you at least know what you're walking into. Whereas if you don't, you're walking into a blind, and it's very dangerous and scary because there could be plumbing issues. Pipes could have been broken in the home or in the groundwork outside the home. Plumbing issues, fault issues. You just never know what you're walking into. And that is the reason you want to have an inspector go out there and look at it. If there are concerns during the inspection, an aging roof, a malfunctioning HVAC system, or any other questionable items, you have the option to discuss and negotiate any potential issues with the seller. Your real estate advisor can help you navigate the process and negotiate what, if any, repairs need to be made before the sale is finalized. Now, home inspections are critical because they can shed light on challenges you may face as a new homeowner. Without inspections, here sometimes costly issues come as a surprise later on. Remember, even if the seller says, I'm not going to do any repairs, you need to know what you're walking into. Don't buy this house blind. Don't go in there and be like, hey, no, this house is going to be perfect. I'm excited. I'm so ready to move into this house. I don't care what it looks like. You've got to know. If there is a crack in the foundation or an issue with the foundation and you own this home, it could be $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 to fix. You need to know that going into it. Because there's sometimes you're going to say, listen, you know what? It's too big of a deal for me to handle. I'm going to walk away. Now, if it's not, that's fine. If you walk into it saying, hey, it's got some issues, I understand that. It's got the good outweighs the bad, that's fine. And that's your decision to make as the buyer. You don't get to blame anyone for that later because you knew about that. You made that decision on your own. Remember, we as realtors, we're here to offer advice. But at the end of the day, the decision is up to the buyer. Well, they have to decide what they want to do. And they have to, but we as real estate experts have to make sure they have all of the information to make the decision that they can. So I strongly recommend getting a home inspection. I strongly recommend getting an appraisal. Another thing that we're seeing get used less and less and less because of the current market that we're in is a home warranty. Home warranties are a fabulous investment. I have continued to have one for the last 15 years, I want to say. You can renew them, you can do what you need to do. But we're seeing buyers at a much larger percentage not getting home warranties because the seller's no longer offering it. If anything issues come up that first year, it's a service call and it's fixed. And that is a fantastic safety blanket for a buyer or a buyer's agent. I can't tell you how many times the buyers call me, hey, my water heater's leaking. Hey, no problem, man. Remember, we got that home warranty, give them a call, and they call me later and say, hey, man, I just got a brand new water heater for $70 or $80 or whatever the price is. And it's like, thank you so much for that, for making sure I got that. It makes you look good. It makes them happy. It gives everybody a little bit of peace of mind. But because sellers in this market are not needing to offer as much, we're seeing a lot of sellers saying, I'm not paying your home warranty. And so it's just not getting bought. I know a lot of real estate agents out there that will actually pay for the home warranty for their buyers. I think that's cool. Do I think you have to? No. But I think you definitely need to have that conversation with your client and say, listen, this is why it's important. This is why I recommend it. In 1 year, I know I received almost $3,000 from my home warranty company because we had a lot of issues that year. I definitely see a value. If you've got an older air conditioner, strongly recommend it. Or heater in those regards. So bottom line, appraisal and inspection are important steps in the home buying process. They protect your best interest as a buyer and by providing unbiased information about the home's value and condition. Work with your trusted real estate advisor so you have an expert guiding you throughout the entire process. We see these things come up. We had an issue. One of my agents recently had an issue where they wanted a repair done, but they couldn't be done for a couple weeks. Now the seller agreed to pay for the repair at closing, but it would be done later. We did not recommend this. We said very clearly, listen, I strongly recommend the work get done because at the end of the day, once we've closed, it's over. It's done. There's nothing we can do. They were excited. They were happy. They didn't care. They're willing to do this. We had them sign a letter saying, hey, I understand. This is what I'm getting. There's nothing else I can do. I want to continue to move forward. We can't tell you not to buy a home. You're an adult. At the end of the day, as a buyer. Well, now it turns out the repair, there's other things that need to be done on top of the repair. So the buyer's no longer as excited because they're saying, hey, wait a minute. They should cover this entire cost. Our negotiation period's over. It's done. It's closed. It's over. So that's the issue. We said we strongly recommend waiting. You didn't want to wait. And their answer made sense. They didn't want to wait. They would have to have rented a property. It would have cost a lot of money. So, but now that they have the house, they don't want to make those repairs. You're never going to know what's going to happen tomorrow. Always be prepared. And remember, at the end of the day, treat your business the same way. I treat it as a very simple process. I'm not perfect. I can agree with that. If you don't believe me, ask my wife. She will tell you the same. I promise you. But every day I go to work, I work to make sure I can go home, look my kids in the eye, look myself in the mirror, and say I did the best I could with the information I had at the time. Will there be more mistakes made? Absolutely. Will there be problems that we have to fix? 100%. But we can still do what we can with what we have. And as long as we can pull that off, we're good. With that, guys, that's pretty much all I've got today. Again, I don't want to make it crazy long, but just some stuff I'm seeing, some stuff that's moving around out there. And I'm worried of so many buyers not getting inspections. I'm worried with so many buyers not getting home warranties because they don't care today. Today it's a cost that I'm saving. Tomorrow they're going to say, hey, I need a new air conditioner, and if I'd have bought this, I would have saved $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. But now I have to pay it myself. Why didn't you tell me? Well, I did tell you. Well, you didn't tell me enough. Like I said, we're all friends until we're not friends. So make sure you do your due diligence. Talk to your clients. Make sure if they say they don't want it, you have them fill out the form that says, I choose not to get this, because that way you've done your due diligence. Inspections, it's an important part of the project to get. You want to make sure what you're walking into. Now, does that mean they're going to fix everything in your inspection report? No. They weren't going to do that 10 years ago. I've seen deals bomb because both sides were ridiculous. I've seen buyers come in and say, I want you to fix everything. That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. It's not a brand new home. I've seen sellers come in and say, I'm not going to fix anything. If it's electrical issues that should be fixed and they're not crazy expensive, if there's plumbing issues that need to be fixed and not crazy expensive, there's nothing that says you can't fix certain things, but there's nothing that says you have to. And that's the whole thing. This is a negotiation. What are we going to do? What are we not going to do? What can you live with as a buyer? What are you willing to pay for as a seller? And the whole point is let's negotiate. I want everybody to be grumbly satisfied when it's all said and done. I don't want to win. I don't want to win and a winner and a loser. I want everybody to win. And that means everybody has to lose a little. If we can pull that off, we've done our job, and we've done our fiduciary to not only our client, but to the transaction as well. So with that, guys, I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. And